ITV News with Geraint Vincent.
Good evening. England and Scotland have had 24 hours to think about the groups they've been drawn in at next summer's North American World Cup. In the last few minutes, they and their fans have learned where and when those matches will be played. There'll be games in 16 cities across 3 countries. England's first against Croatia will be played at the AT&T Stadium in Dallas, and Scotland will start their campaign against Haiti at Foxborough Stadium in Boston. Our sports editor Steve Scott reports from Washington.
Never one to hide from the limelight, FIFA President Gianni Infantino was centre stage again today. Front and centre to reveal exactly where and at what time of day teams will be playing at next summer's World Cup.
Is this your Peace Prize?
This all followed yesterday's painful homage to Donald Trump, where after an hour or so's fawning of the American president, England, we eventually found out who would be up against who in the group stages. First up, today's information critical for teams choosing where they'll be based and travelling fans. England's crucial opening game against Croatia will be in Dallas. Kick-off at home will be 9 o'clock. They'll play Ghana in Boston, again at 9 p.m. And finally, they'll kick off at 10 p.m. against Panama in New Jersey. All 3 games starting in the heat of daytime in the States. Kunal Sapat, who has barely missed an England game in 10 years and is determined to travel to the States, was monitoring today's big reveal.
Now is the planning time for all of us, and now is the time we get on our laptops, get on our phones, we start booking our flights, we start booking our hotels.
Like all teams, opponents apart, extensive travel and intense heat are going to be Scotland's enemies next summer. Today we found out their first match against Haiti will be in Boston, kick-off time at 2 a.m. UK time. Likewise, their second against Morocco, although kick-off there will be earlier at 11 o'clock. And finally, their eye-catching match against Brazil, the 5th time they've met in a World Cup, will be in sweltering Miami, also an 11 o'clock kick-off. Now both England and Scotland will urgently be identifying which base camp to use, where best helps their chances of making it through their groups and beyond. Steve Scott, ITV News, Washington.
Reform UK is celebrating the recruitment of another Conservative defector. This time it's a Scottish Lord. Malcolm Offord described the Tories as a party without a vision, but he appeared to need some encouragement when it came to endorsing his new boss at a party rally in Scotland this afternoon. Meanwhile, one of Nigel Farage's fellow pupils at his old school has told ITV News that the Reform leader must come clean about what he describes as the racist views Mr Farage expressed as a teenager. Here's our political correspondent, Carl Dinham.
Nigel Farage didn't mention the allegations against him in his speech today, sticking instead to a more familiar script.
We are in economic decline. We are in social decline. We are even, I think, frankly, in moral decline. I'm not surprising everybody.
But he did have his own headline-grabbing announcement, another defection from the Tories.
Lord Malcolm Offord, please come to the stage.
Lord Offord is a former merchant banker and Conservative minister.
Today I'm joining Reform UK.
He says he intends to resign from the Lords and stand for Holyrood, although he initially seemed a little slow to back his new leader.
Do you think he's morally fit to become a Prime Minister one day?
I think this is a question that you could ask of any number of the previous Prime Ministers we've
You've just
had.
joined this party, so you should surely are asking that question of Nigel Farage.
I believe he is morally fit to be Prime Minister, yes I do.
Although 28 of Nigel Farage's Dulwich College contemporaries say they witnessed him being offensively racist when he was a pupil at the public school.
Reform and Nigel Farage are claiming that this is all politically motivated. Is it?
No, I mean, I'm not a member of any political party at all. So my only concern is, here is Nigel Farage. I know this chap from the past. He's said some awful things that he doesn't distance himself from. And that's the concerning thing. And that's the thing that I think the country needs to be aware of.
As Reform met in Falkirk, so too did opposing groups of protesters outside a migrant hotel in the town. And Nigel Farage said the immigration crisis is one of the reasons reform is winning support in Scotland. Kyle Dinnan, ITV News.
4 people have been arrested after custard and apple crumble were thrown at a display case containing the crown jewels at the Tower of London. The protesters filmed the stunt, saying they belonged to what they called a new non-violent civil resistance group. Well, Graham Stothard is at the Tower. Graham, did this cause any damage, and why did these people do it?
Well, to answer your first question, the crown jewels were undamaged, and while the room that they are located in was closed for police to investigate, actually the remainder of the tower, much of the museum building, was still open to visitors. Now, the group that has claimed responsibility call themselves Take Back Power, and as staff rushed to intervene, they actually appeared to address the room, and they filmed it themselves in a video that they then went on to release.
Freedom's broken. We come here to choose the nation to take back power. Join us and take back power.
So afterwards, the group released a statement calling for the creation of a citizens' assembly with more power to tax the wealthy. They also accused the government and the main political parties of serving the super rich. The group has also claimed responsibility for a stunt at the Ritz Hotel earlier this week. In a video again released by themselves, you can see bags of manure being emptied next to the hotel lobby's Christmas tree. Now, after this recent incident, the police say 4 people were arrested. The policing minister has branded it disgraceful.
All right, Graham, thank you. A new treatment for prostate cancer is being trialled for the first time in the UK. The procedure uses AI to help locate cancerous tissue and robotics and pressurised water to deal with it, making the surgical removal of the prostate unnecessary. Ravneet Nandra explains.
It's the most common cancer in men, but now the way prostate cancer is treated could be revolutionised. It's called aquablation, which uses AI and real-time imaging to find and treat early diagnosis of the cancer without having to remove the prostate.
What it will be doing is trying to actually remove the cancer cells from within the prostate using high-pressured water jets, and it's doing this also providing a sort of an ultrasound scan of the prostate, so it can be very targeted in the way it does this.
The therapy is already being used in some instances, which has seen patients returning to normal much quicker. There's been less than 1% of reported cases of erectile dysfunction, one of the main side effects of conventional treatment, and patients have had long-lasting relief from symptoms as a whole.
That wound was probably the biggest.
But Roger Reed had his prostate removed as part of the current treatment when he was diagnosed 2 years ago.
I experienced erectile dysfunction, incontinence, had to wear a catheter for about 2 weeks. Didn't expect for my psychology to change, or my mentality to change. If it was around when I needed it, I certainly would have gone that route.
But this trial comes as a national prostate screen programme was rejected. It prompted backlash from public figures like Sir Chris Hoy, whose prostate cancer became terminal, and former Prime Minister David Cameron, who had recently been treated, saying limited testing is not enough to save lives. But experts hope if this trial is a success, it'll mean treatment could be available to all men in the near future. Ravneet Nandra, ITV News.
In other news, Merseyside police are searching for the driver of a car that struck and killed an elderly woman in Liverpool. Police say the driver of the dark-coloured car didn't stop. They're appealing to anyone with CCTV, dashcam or doorbell footage that may have captured the incident in Fazakerley. And the Police Federation has apologised for its South Yorkshire branch's reaction to the Hillsborough report. It initially called it unfair and a waste of taxpayers' time and money because it was critical of officers who couldn't respond. Victims' families called that response truly disgraceful. Sports and the Ashes series that was scheduled to be contested over 25 days this winter already looks to be out of England's reach tonight. After only 5 days of competition, they failed with the bat again today, and barring a miraculous recovery, they're heading for a second straight defeat tomorrow. Here's Chris Gudder.
Just for a moment, the Barmy army thought the old empire would strike back, but surely not even Luke Skywalker could save England now. There you go, we always gone straight through. After a bright start to their second innings, wickets were thrown away. Pope and Crawley both fell in the same lame fashion. Oh no, again! And when England needed another hero's knock from Joe Root, this time he could not deliver. It didn't get any better from there under the unforgiving Gabba lights. England 6 down, still 43 runs behind. The recriminations have already started. Just why did they come into the Ashes so underprepared?
Preparation is not the question for me at all. This question comes up all the time, and it's the same answers that this is the way that tours are nowadays. You know, it's not unique for us coming here to Australia this trip that we haven't played 3 Shield games like you'd expect we'd have done 20, 30 years ago.
They'll very likely go 2-0 down tomorrow, and England's series hopes look like turning to ashes after only 6 sorry days' play. Chris Scudder, ITV News.
In the Premier League, leaders Arsenal suffered a dramatic late defeat at inform Aston Villa. Finally, tribute to being paid to one of the world's most influential architects, who's died at the age of 96. You may not know Frank Gehry's face, but he is behind some of the world's most striking and imaginative buildings, including the Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao, seen as a turning point in the history of architecture and urban planning. Laura Jones has more.
Frank Gehry's designs dominate skylines. He was known as the master of the curve. The Louis Vuitton Foundation in Paris saw him push what was possible with glass.
In the 21st century, everything moves. Airplanes, cars, boats, everything, traffic. And so I thought that I wanted to try the idea of movement.
But he started out with more modest projects. His own home in Santa Monica, California, and experiments with fragmented forms. In the UK, he designed a drop-in centre for cancer charity Maggie's in Dundee. Its wavy silver roof modelled on a traditional Scottish button-bend dwelling. In 2008, he created a temporary summer arts pavilion in London's Hyde Park, with its timber planks and steel columns. But he was best known for the Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao, crafted out of titanium sheets, limestone and glass. It was instantly celebrated as a modern marvel, despite Gehry's initial worries.
These ideas are scary as hell to tell to the client. They can reject you, and they will, but you gotta find your own voice.
One success followed another. Gehry also designed the Walt Disney Concert Hall in Los Angeles, resembling sails billowing in the wind. He received every major architecture prize for putting movement at the forefront of his designs. A titan in architecture, limited only by gravity.
Frank Gehry, who's died at the age of 96. That's all for now. We'll be back with the late news at 11:15 tonight. Enjoy your evening. Bye-bye.